Hi guys, welcome to Reen's Place. Today we are making a chicken cordon bleu casserole. I'm going to do a quick rundown of the ingredients, and then I'm going to quick change my battery, and then we'll swing over to the stove. Okay, so to make this recipe, you're going to need 2 tablespoons of butter, a small onion that's diced, which I've already done, 2 tablespoons of flour, a cup of chicken broth, a half a cup of milk, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 2 cups of chicken cooked, and I just pulled mine into pieces. You can cube it, you can do it however you like. And then you're going to need a cup of deli ham, diced. The original recipe that I got came from Courtney at What's for Dinner, and she used shredded cheddar cheese, but I only had slices, so I just cut them up into little fine cubes. Sorry about that. Girls, you're going to need 1.5 cups of Swiss cheese, and you're going to need to divide that, a cup and then a half a cup. So you have a cup of ham, a cup of Swiss for the recipe, and a half a cup of Swiss for the topping. You're also going to need a cup of cooked orzo pasta, which I have in the drain right now. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of shredded parmesan, which I've done here, a cup of panko bread crumbs, 2 tablespoons, this is an additional 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and I'm going to use a teaspoon of parsley, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and salt and pepper to taste. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch on over to the stove, and I will bring you right. Okay guys, I'm back with a new battery. We're over at the stove, and the first thing you're going to do is get your pot to a over a medium-high heat, and you're going to put your first 2 tablespoons of butter in here. Basically what we're doing is making the sauce. It's kind of like a roux. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. And to this I'm going to add my my minced onion. So, here, let me put it over here first. Okay, so this was 1 smallish onion, which is what it calls for. Okay, there you go. That's my onion. Let me grab my spoon. It smells good. And so basically you just want this to, get slightly translucent. Sorry about that. Aggie, be good. Okay. So this is going to take for like 2 minutes. Our next step is to this, we're going to add the flour to this once this cooks down a little bit more. And again, we're going to make a roux, and it's going to get real thick, and we're going to cook the flour so that it doesn't taste raw. And then we'll add our milk, our Dijon mustard, and our chicken broth. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with original, like the traditional chicken cordon bleu. What you'd have to do is butterfly a chicken breast, and then you roll ham and cheese in it, and then you bread it, egg and bread it, and then you lightly fry it, and then you finish it off in the oven, and then you make basically like a roux on top of it for dressing. Okay, so I'm happy with where my onions are right now. And so I'm going to add the 2 tablespoons of flour to this. And this won't take but a minute, literally. I feel like this is just a little teeny bit thick. I'm going to just add a little pat of butter to it. Okay. Okay, you're going to need a whisk for this next part, and make sure you do it constantly so it doesn't burn and so that it'll thicken and that you don't get lumps. I have a big whisk, but I really like this one better. Handle around here a little bit better. Okay, that's thickening up nicely. I am using some homemade chicken broth, but you know, canned chicken broth works just as well. And we're going to add a cup of that. And what this does, traditionally a roux doesn't have chicken broth in it, but what this is going to do is going to make it a little bit lighter tasting than such a heavy roux would, which is nice in a casserole, and it also won't be quite as thick. I'm going to lower my heat here, and I'm just going to salt and pepper this a little bit. Now my homemade chicken broth doesn't have any salt in it, so normally I do can it with salt, but this batch that I didn't use any salt. So I probably put a little bit more salt in here. I'll have to taste it. And our last ingredient is going to be the 2 tablespoons of the Dijon mustard. Whoops, 1. And 2. It smells really good. Just going to grab a spoon and give it a taste to see if we have enough salt in it. Just a sprinkle more salt. You can really taste that Dijon. It tastes really good. Okay, that's it. That's our sauce. I'm going to take this off the heat. That goes over there. Okay, don't get dizzy. I'm going to swing you around to the other side again. And let me adjust my camera. Okay, we don't need the cutting board anymore. Okay, so in a large bowl, add your 2 cups of chicken. I feel like I might have a little bit more, but that's okay. 2 cups of chicken. And I didn't season this at all, so I'm going to do that now. I'm just adding a little salt, a little pepper, and give it a stir. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, to the chicken, I'm going to add the ham. And that's a cup of diced deli ham. I'm going to add the orzo pasta. This was a cup dry, and I cooked it in salted water. And then I just rinsed it. I mean strained it, not rinsed it. And it's thickening up a little bit here, so we're just going to break it up a little. And I never even entertained the thought of putting orzo in a into a casserole like this, but what a great idea, huh? Okay, so that's in there. And then you're going to add to this your 1 cup of Swiss cheese, reserving the other half a cup for the topping. This looks like a lot. Okay, so what you're supposed to do in the very beginning, which I neglected to tell you, is if you haven't done so already, you're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees, and you're going to grease up a 9 by 13 casserole with some olive oil. I am doing smaller pans. I'm actually doing aluminum pans because this is like way too big of a recipe. And I don't think everybody should just not eat foods that they like because it's too big of a recipe. You know, if you're 1 or 2 people, make it. Get these little tin plates from the dollar store and, you know, enjoy it. Put them in the freezer. That's what I'm going to do, make freezer meals. Okay, so we're just adding the gravy, if you will, that we made out of the roux. Okay, so to me, I used a little extra chicken. Actually, I used more than a little extra. I probably have 3 cups in here. And to me, this is a little dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera for a moment, and I'm going to make another little bit of roux to add to this. Just using the butter, the milk, and the chicken broth. I'm not going to add onion or anything to that. So let me push pause here for just a moment. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, so I made another batch of the roux, and what it is I did 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. I did half a cup of milk and a cup of chicken broth. This is in addition to the original amount, and I added salt and pepper to it. So I don't know if I'm going to need it all, but I figured it would be a good way to, you know, to see. Yeah, I'm putting it all in. Nobody ever said, oh my, this casserole is too creamy and delicious. So, and I don't think you would need this if you didn't add the extra chicken like I did. But again, I've never made this before, and, you know, we'll learn it together, right? Okay, see, that looks much better to me. Much. Okay, so again, make sure that your dishes are oiled. I just put a little bit of olive oil in them. I don't know how many I'm going to need. Probably 3, but I've only done 2 so far. Let me move this a little bit. Okay. You just get a scoop. I think it'll be easier. Again, I don't know how much I need to make, so. Okay, I'm going to need my 3rd pan. Let me put a little oil in here real quick. Okay, and now I'm trying to think if this is going to be enough breadcrumbs. Again, never made it before, so I'm not really sure, but we'll start with, the 2 pans and see how that goes. Let me get this in here. It looks really good. I'm just going to move this over a little bit. Okay, let's see. Get the rest of it in. I mean, I don't think this was so bad to make this. If you know how to make a roux, you're halfway there. And if not, it's very easy to do. Equal parts of butter and flour. Okay, I'm just going to move these down back here so you can see. And we're going to make the topping now. So what I got out of this, I mean, that's pretty good, right? One recipe. I would say that one of these small pans would definitely feed 2 people, and probably leftovers as well. So if you're doing this for a family, a 9x13 casserole, you'd have plenty. Okay, in a smaller bowl, what you're going to add is a cup of the panko breadcrumbs. You're going to add some seasoning to it. A teaspoon of parsley. A teaspoon of cayenne. Ooh, spicy. And you might want to be careful with the cayenne if you have small children. Maybe put a little less. Your Parmesan cheese that you grated earlier. And I have to say, I've never been a fan of Parmesan until recently when I started doing these videos. I have retasted it since I'm an adult. Well, I was an adult last time and I didn't like it, but I have retasted it, and it no longer smells like dirty feet to me. So it's a win all the way around. Okay, so there's that. We're going to add our Swiss cheese, which is the half a cup. And then we had the 2 tablespoons of the butter that we melted earlier. That goes in there. Okay, and this would be plenty to stick on a 9x13 pan. Is it going to be enough for my 3 little casseroles? I'm not sure, but what I think I'm going to do is just add a little more breadcrumb mixture to mine, just to make sure it goes. Probably another, this is a cup measure, so I'm going to do like half. That should be plenty, and I don't think that that will affect the seasonings at all or anything like that. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to use my hands, and we're going to spread this on top. Okay, I think that was an absolute right amount. But again, I think that there would be plenty if you were just doing the 9 by 13. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick one of these in the oven. And it's going to go in my 400 degree oven for 25 minutes. And I'm going to check on it. And I'll bring you back here. And we shall see. Let me show you up close what we're looking at right now. Looks good, right? Alright, let me get this in the oven and I'll bring you right back. Okay, I'm back. It's been 25 minutes. Let me show you. It was all bubbly around the outside when I took it out of the oven. It's nice and golden brown. I'm going to ignore the phone. Maybe not. Let me pause you for a moment. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let me show you what the inside of this looks like. Again, this was in the oven, 400 degrees, and I did it for 25 minutes. I don't know if you could see how crispy, crunchy those crumbs are. It looks good. I hope it tastes good. Okay, let's give it a taste. Never had it before, but I like traditional chicken cordon bleu. I just don't like the bother of it. I want to try to get a little bite of everything. I have some breadcrumbs, I have some chicken, and there's the ham. Okay, ready? Mmm. It's really good. Probably add a little salt and pepper to it. The breadcrumbs definitely have that little bit of a kick from the cayenne. I only put about a half a teaspoon of cayenne and I can taste it. If you were going to do this for a house with young children, I would skip the cayenne and throw a little paprika in. But I like it. I just wouldn't put more in. But yeah, this recipe is definitely going into my recipe box. And I hope it goes into yours too. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Leave a comment in the comment section. I'm going to put the detailed instructions, because it seemed like a lot, in the description box. Again, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Alright guys, have a good night. Enjoy yourselves.